It looks like it's working. You let me know, Lars. Okay? Please? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I never know. It's echoing. It's crazy. I don't know. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about continuing on from yesterday's darshan. Yeah. A lot of people didn't attend it, but a lot of people did. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about the harmonic relationship that happens with helping to heal the planet that is unhealthy, yeah, that is going through a lot of process. Imagine that you drill a lot, and you do things in middle America and all over the countries, and it's starting to have problems with the plates, the underground plates, and earthquakes are taking place where they never took place before, and weather conditions are worse, which are directly involved with the same situation that is involved with the earthquakes. Yeah, and so the influences, of the unhealthy aspect of the planet has a lot to do with potential dangers that could be expressed into humanity that are really pretty unnecessary. Yeah, a lot of toxic waste, a lot of things will come out of the water in the waterways from the drilling that went on and all the different fracking that has taken place. All of that uses toxic water and drudge and things of that nature to force this action to take place, and that's pushed into the rocks. And after many, 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 many years, this settles into the drinking water. It settles into the farm water. It settles into the system. Yeah, and it's extremely toxic. It's not something that would have naturally come up and gotten into the system. So it was very much added in very large ways in areas that are quite often start off in farming communities, but that then bleeds off into the local community and into the towns and into probably even cities. So that's a lot of danger. That's a lot of toxicity that'll go for generations after generations into people, and we really won't know the outcome of the health hazard. And that'll really slow us down when it comes down to our ability soulfully to have a life that we are here meant to have. So there are ways to raise the consciousness inside of humanity, to move humanity in such a way that they become consciously aware of the wrongdoings that have taken place. People who signed the contracts, people who sold their farms out, local neighbors, things of that nature, where it just didn't have an understanding at the time, but that has passed. That understanding is deep. And there are very few who don't know the truth. No matter where you're at, no matter what country you're in, when this sort of thing has taken place and you give many years to it, the outcome is that society can't be bought. They can't be conned, only for a short period of time. And then revelation comes in, and no denial. It just takes time. But if things aren't dealt with properly, then it takes too much time. And there a lot of inertia. A lot of the purpose of the Dark Lodge is to allow that inertia, that time, to be very slow and very, a lot of things to come up to keep it from taking place. Laws and purchase of land and all different types of things. So it's consciousness that is the one thing that can make the major change in the process of how this is going to move through the future, and into humanity. So by raising the level of consciousness in the United States and utilizing certain areas, like we go to Nepal, we go to India, we go to Glastonbury, come here to this area, I go to Hawaii, and influence those areas, the influence of the earth that are very sacred in those areas. They have very strong, either volcanic or strong nature, psychic influences that has to do with love. Yeah, has to do with balance. Yeah, yeah. And so those areas, just by being in those areas, fostering, there's no monastic reality going on yet. Yeah. But just by the fact that I'm physically incarnated and I'm allowed enough freedom to move about and give my time and energy, because that's what I'm here for. I'm not here for other things. I'm here, to impress my beingness for periods of time in places so that the world could be saved from what's going to take place, that no one can see it. No one knows any of it. Yeah, it's going to take a very long time for it to unravel. Yeah, and it's way too late. Yeah, so my work is to influence that consciousness so that we can be moved in those specific zones, the places that I go. Yeah, those areas that I go, you'll find to be the most advanced, ecological, moving, soulful people that are taking care of the poor, that are taking care of how to deal with, the transition between illegal marijuana and legal marijuana and all the different things that really are happening but need to happen quickly, smoothly, and honestly. Yeah? And in doing that, it changes the karmic relationship on a massive level amongst hundreds and maybe millions of people, because small zone people who are in a sacred space, who are reincarnated to be in that space and have been moved about to be to those spaces, give light back due to their reincarnations. So I further that, because I'm the planetary logos, and I am the logos for all over this planet. Not any one location, not any for one group or for any purpose other than this that I'm saying. I am a geomancer. Yeah, I serve this planet as a geomancer. Yeah, yeah, I am moved, and I have to be moved so that we could be moved to have monasteries. Because by me going to these places, yeah, and it's a very big struggle for me to be in my place, in my time, in my position, doing what I do, without it being anything to do with personality. It has to do with what I'm saying right now. Yeah. And in doing that, I activate a future. That in that future, the people who are in those places will be risen up. And they will build monasteries. Yeah. And they will build and do all kinds of things that will be archetypal for the rest of humanity in a very natural way. Yeah. And I'll be known there. Yeah. My way of being, my building a monastery here, yeah, that's definitely going to be known as time goes on. Yeah, and being in Nepal, every place that I go to is going to show signs of Christ, by the influence of my presence. Not because I'm on the planet, it's because I go about places on the planet in order to heal certain zones of the planet that I and I alone know what they do and how and why they can heal the planet. It's not because of people. It's because of the planet. Does that make sense? The plants, the animals, I can talk to them. I can feel them. Yeah? I can adjust things. Yeah? I can make them feel that it's going to be okay. Yeah? People will change. Yeah? As a representative, I do that. Yeah? And I can calm down what is going on, and it could be transmuted in very magical ways by you awakening to the reality of how to detoxify toxicity. Yeah, there are certain plants, there are certain natural ways that we can detoxify this planet. Yeah, but first we got to raise our consciousness into the ability to seek and find and do. Yeah, and I'm not here to say we do this and we do that and we do this. I'm here to provide consciousness. Yeah, and me being active, getting out and going places and doing what I need to do. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, because I'm only interested in building monasteries. That's it. And it's not about me being a guru in all these monasteries. It's about your souls and your present problems that you have, doing as I'm saying we're all going to do. It's going to solve all those problems. Yeah, we're going to have a life that is good, and we're going to cherish it, and we're going to live very long lives, and we're going to raise everybody up, and we're going to care, and we're going to share, and we're not going to be fanatical or idealistic. We're going to be normal, really, really normal. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, yeah. You know, so, but it's really a matter of me being a geomancer. Look around me. Look at what I do. Look at all the tools you have. Yeah, you have those. Your teacher is a geomancer. Yeah, God's a geomancer. This whole thing is geomancy. Yeah, but in Shambhala, it's all about geomancy. Yeah, you know, so for me to make the difference here, I need to actively activate Shambhala and not be so. You know, everybody's interested in hierarchy or interested in this or that, but I'm actually only interested in the embodiment of God's creation, which is called Shambhala. Yeah, and it's not a place; it's the mind of God. It's God creation. It's the outcome. Under the free will of God, it's the outcome. Yeah, and we call it Shambhala. Yeah, it's physical heaven on earth with God's will in action. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, you know, so it's not a utopia. It's hard work. Yeah, but it's hope. Yeah, it's hope. Yeah, it's not like, you know, it's going to happen. Bam, that's the way it is. Yeah, but it is the process of the fact that geomancy is how it happens. Yeah, so it does elevate through a force of magic. Yeah. So geomancy has to do with being moved, yeah, being moved from one place to another. So I'm going to show you a process about who actually came to America first. Yeah, Buddhists, you know, were the first ones to find America, and they found America by having direct telepathy with this location with these Pomo Indians. Yeah, I'll show it to you. It's kind of cool. That's not it. But he's nice. Oh, yeah. Takes a second. I have to find the file. couldn't make this print any smaller, you know. Here it is.
The Pitt River Indian.
Okay. All right. We shall try this.
The Pitt River Indians and the Pomo Indian tribal group of northwestern California have an ancient myth or legend or folklore that talks about a giant bridge which went from this area across the ocean to another race of people who they felt or thought or believed were Indians, but their skin color was different. It was more yellowish. And the way the old legend goes is the world was purified by water and everything on earth was destroyed. And many of the high priests and religious leaders knew this was going to happen, so they gathered the people together and they moved up high to the high tops of the mountains. And while they were up there, some of the visionaries or prophets began to see another race of people who looked like Indians but were yellow-skinned. So somehow or other, you might call it mental telepathy, they started to build a bridge from this part of the continent, while that other race of people started to build a bridge from the other continent. And somewhere in the middle of the ocean, they linked up together and they communicated with each other. And what really signaled all of this was the rainbow. As the yellow race of people left and they were going back, a rainbow came up. And they said, someday this physical bridge will be gone, but remember us, our brother, because the rainbow will always be there.
The story was that they found a part of Chinese junk along the coast near Tillamook, Oregon. And so they had the divers go down, and they did find that it was old. So they figured that.
So the two locations that they found Buddhists that first came to America was Pomo Indians here, yeah, which drew them to America, yeah, and then once they got here, they landed in Tillamook. Isn't that a trip? Yeah, and they made their way down to here, yeah, and they made their way all the way to.
The Chinese came over, got caught in a storm, probably all perished, or maybe some of them swam ashore, and they say that some of those Chinese must have survived, and then they went inland, and there was Indians, you know, living all around the coast there, that they intermarried there, because some of the Indians from certain parts of Oregon are slant-eyed.
Some believe this may have been brought about by contact from China. The Buddhist religion was flourishing in China in the 6th century. In a monastery in Shenxi province, these statues stand guard over the records of Buddhist history. We learned from these stone tablets that in 570 AD, several monks set sail across the Great Sea to seek new converts to the Buddhist faith. The official account of their voyage states that the monk Hu Shen and his companions, sailing eastward, came upon the shores of a strange, faraway land. The distance logged was 20,000 leagues, or about 7,000 nautical miles. This would place them on the coast of Southern California. The account does not record their feelings as they cautiously entered a strange new land. Only that they made their way inland through forests, across mountains and deserts for 350 miles. At last, they stood on the rim of a great canyon, banded with many colors. Could they have been describing the Grand Canyon? The account continues that at the bottom of the canyon, far below, there was a river winding among boulders.
You know, this is something an explorer from the Smithsonian Institute back in the early 1900s came across a cave in the Grand Canyon, and inside of it is these great big statues of Buddha, along with a lot of relics and everything from Egypt, yeah, showing the pyramid and all obelisk and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, so it has in it, this is, from what they can tell, this would be right around that time, and the whole complex is nearly a mile inside. It's extremely big. Yeah, so the story goes on with this monk. He goes on, sees what he sees, and then when he does return, he tells the emperor who sends him off. The emperor gets so excited that he sends a lot of ships and a lot of other monks and everybody else to come. Yeah, and this is what's left over from it. Yeah, kind of neat. There. So that's a little bit on location. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot. Every area has its identifying frequency, yeah, and it's not about, you know, like things you could see, or, you know, a magnetic field you could feel or something like that. Yeah, it has to do with just holiness, and holiness is rare. Yeah, it's not found everywhere. Yeah, it's found in extremely rare sacred places. Some places are just not at all holy. Yeah, they're very stagnant and very dangerous and very toxic and very, you know, so many different things throughout the world. You know, could be environmentally in every way, you know, not exactly the healthiest place for you to be. Yeah, but a holy place, yeah, is divinely related to the chakras of the planet. Yeah, it's just like having the influence of a person who has their chakras aligned, and things are very wise and clear, and they're loving, and all the nature quality is there exhibiting. Yeah, and the same thing happens in the earth, but it expresses outwardly. Yeah, and it expresses inside of plants and inside of rock and inside of people. If you go there, yeah, it'll get inside you. Yeah, and it could very much affect the process of your soulful awakening, yeah, quickening, yeah, that process, yeah, because we're the same as this earth, yeah, we can't really disconnect ourselves, yeah. The thing is that we don't know about pilgrimage, we don't know about sacred sites, we don't know that this is a holy day every day, we don't know any of this, yeah. It's not like it's been lost, it's been misused, yeah, and abused, yeah, and we're just coming into this. Humanity is just coming into this, yeah, and it's not a religious or a paranormal thing, yeah. It's a very easy, understood scenario, you know. It just includes meditation. It just includes making an offering, you know. When you go, you stay clean, you know. You keep it clean. You know, you enter in clean, you exit clean, you know, you make no damage whatsoever, you know, you don't go in with a pickup truck, you know, it's, you know, you do as much as you can to keep everything as subtle and as simple and only providing what it needs to provide, yeah, you know, so sacred spaces actually can move the whole of the planet. So in real good sacred spaces should be a place of meditation. It should be immediately offered over for the planet to receive back, you know, all the blessings that it's putting out. Yeah, and you put a pyramid there, and you offer mysore therapy, and you do that. That's its purpose. Yeah, you do the same in your house. You do the same in your business. You do the same for yourself. But as a geomancer, you know, I have been doing this sort of thing, you know, for a very long time. Yeah, and then I've stepped it down to explain the aspects of soul therapy and, you know, how this could work with you and all this kind of stuff. But in all reality, all I really do is geomancy, you know, and I know that, you know, I am sacred, just like this earth, and I'm a one of a kind, yeah. And this is a triggering, you know. It's like I said to you know, Shamar Rinpoche, you know, that I activate, you know, I create a process where I recapitulate, and that divinity that was awakened by me, yeah. So when I'm allowed to go back into that process, that is then recapitulated, yeah. And if I could do that in as many of the places where I've been, do that in one lifetime, yeah, then I reawaken, activate, you know, stabilize an enormous grid, an enormous sacred grid, you know, that sits on this planet. And it only requires, you know, a very extremely small percentage of that grid to be activated for it, the whole thing to be activated. Yeah, it only requires a small. It's got to be in the right place. It's got to be on the right time. It's got to be the right person. You know, and it's really quite an awesome process, like a movie. Yeah, but it's geomancy. Yeah, and it's the process of the activity of being able to transfer. You know, like if I go to Nepal, my relationship of sitting on the throne seat and giving teachings and receiving honors that I do there, yeah, is something that directly affects the relationship of extremely negative dark forces. Yeah, because if you go there, you'll find that that's a place where Padmasambhava went in order to battle demons, really big ass demons. Yeah, and struggled for a very long time fighting those demons, you know, and didn't take every single one of them out, but took it all every time one came in and one was to be dealt with, it was dealt with. Yeah, but the whole earth, the divinity of a place, demons attack. Yeah, wherever there's divinity. Yeah, I can go to Glastonbury, you know. Yeah. This place here is an awakening of spirituality. Yeah, so there's nothing is bothering it. Yeah, it's not re-establishing a recapitulation from anything from the past. Yeah, it's a holy place, and it's being anointed that way as a holy place, and very much, you know, innocent as it is. Yeah, all the people that used to be here, all the life that existed here, all of that carries an offering to it that has to do with the relationship of how the elements settle inside of a human being and make people happy and peaceful and not, you know, change just because of hostility, just because of aggression, building up, as though it's our nature to be that way. Yeah, where we could see that it's not the nature of hostility in these people, you know, in the life that they've lived, if you study their past. Yeah, so all that energy comes back through in geomancy. Yeah, it comes back up, and it heals the process where struggles like civil wars, yeah, struggles like the relationship between men and women, human rights, yeah, how we treated children during a certain cycle of time, for slavery, for job slavery, from you know, the different types of persecution and things that humanity has done, created in peril, every single cycle of it. Yeah, so all of that is reduced through geomancy. Yeah, all of it. Yeah. It's not done by the Pope doing anything. Geomancy changes the Pope, and the Pope is part of the problem. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, you know, so it's much more about the monad and the process of how the Christ works as a geomancer. Yeah, is the process of planetary healing. Yeah, so that's why when I do soul therapy and show soul therapy, it's totally based on geomancy and applied geomancy and how spontaneously we interact with divinity. Yeah, we don't have an intellect. We don't have to know anything. We just spontaneously respond. Yeah, and it's very neutral, very calming, and very quiet. It's not, something that is aggressive because it's not on a hard ray. It's on a soft ray. Yeah, geomancy leads everything into the heart, so that imagine there's a yin and yang. Yeah, well, geomancy is the center point of that yin and yang. Yeah, where there's no yin and yang. Yeah, it's just a dot. Yeah, and it's an illusion that you're seeing yin and yang. You're making yin and yang. Yeah, does it make sense? It's not there. Yeah, so it's that fixes it. The monad, the dot. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, because below that is a soul, and soul is the difficulty between personality and soul. That's yin and yang. Does that make sense? Yeah, so those don't really matter. They don't really exist. Yeah, everything's made by the monad. But you figure that out when when everything is relaxed, relaxed. Does that make sense? Because you're changing from a hard ray, to a soft ray, and you're flipping from the sixth ray to the second ray. So everything from what used to be hard now is second ray. What used to be sixth ray now is second ray. Yeah. So everything in transition becomes geomancy. Yeah. That's why when you talk about geometric forms like this, and you put them all together and they apply like an Adam's earth, like that, it is a part of the geomancy, the fact that everything connects together. Even though you're looking at an octahedron, you're not. You're looking at this very complicated form. And the octahedron you can't even see now, is actually in the octahedron that you're simply looking at. Does that make sense? Yeah. So there's many dimensions, multi-dimensional reality. Yeah. Each one has a consciousness. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's what geomancy brings. It's not a teaching of intellectuality in God and machine, because you're never going to figure this out. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because it's really not about figuring it out. It's about understanding. Yeah, does that make sense? Because it's a whole lot easier if you just do that. Yeah, it will solve all my problems. Really will, because there's a whole lot of children out there don't deserve the situation. So let's meditate, please. Key. I'm gonna do the invocation. Okay, just close your eyes and relax. Okay, just repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad.
I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad.
To guide me into the right, into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ, to serve the one. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, take a deep breath.
Choose your way.
Okay, just relax. What? Hey. It's been off for long? Probably. Funny. It's the best answer, you know. Yeah, probably a very long time. Okay, so there's this thing called a monochord. This thing here. I'm gonna play this and you just relax and close your eyes. Enjoy. Hey, I didn't do it. How's that? I saw myself on the other camera over there. Okay, close your eyes. You don't need to look at me anyway, so just close your eyes. That's a little ditty. Imagine that was played back during Pythagoras' time. Isn't that cool? Okay, now I'm going to play a drum, and then that's going to be it. Energy is moved by vibration and waves. Yeah? Consciousness is moved through vibration and waves. Yeah? So, like, everything that I'm playing is a song, but it has consciousness to it, and it's actually just the elevated state of bliss that's inside of me. But that and all the consciousness that I have inside of me comes with it. Yeah? So you can get whatever you want. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. All right. There. That was drum. Okay, so that's it for tonight. I'm not going to say any more. Thank you very much for attending. Yeah, yeah. The only other thing I wanted to say, yeah, the thing about geomancy is that it's the job of the planetary logos. Yeah, it's not something that you teach someone to do. Yeah, it's not something like when I sit on a throne seat. There could be 100,000 masters, yeah, and every single one of them is only in revelation. It's not that they're there, make it possible for me to be there, yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. It just grows. It just is what it is, yeah. But that isn't what makes this, yeah. So I'm not like oh, it's got to be like that, yeah. It's not. It is already like that. Yeah, it's just in a different way. Yeah, so that's why I apply what I do. I do geomancy because I know that it is this way. Yeah, in everybody. It's just that they're very far from it, and they need to wake up. And until they wake up, it won't happen. It's not possible. Yeah. So the process is geomancy in order to apply divinity that then wakes up saints, and that applies me being planetary logos, being able to sit on a throne seat that I'm supposed to be sitting on, along with an infinite number of masters of wisdom that can sit on their throne seats. Yeah, and none of them under delusions of grandeur of thinking that they have anything to do with me sitting on my throne seat. That makes sense? Yeah, because that would keep me from being on my seat. I wouldn't be their teacher. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah, because, it's not as all about me, it's all about God. And it's a singularity reality, and it's a one God reality, So and then again, it's sharing. Yeah. So it's not, some sixth rate thing. Make sense? It's just called the hierarchy. Yeah. All right. Okay. Enjoy.